We interrupt our program this morning because we have some breaking news to bring you out of downtown Orlando. We want to take you to Orange Avenue, which is where this is all happening. You can see there's a heavy police presence. We started getting phone calls into our newsroom between 2 and 3 o'clock this morning about a shooting at a downtown Orlando nightclub. Since then, we've been able to confirm with Orlando police that there has been a shooting at Pulse nightclub in downtown Orlando. This is in the 1900 block of South Orange Avenue. If you're familiar with the area, let me set the scene for you. You may be able to see a McDonald's and a PNC Bank there on the right of your screen. This is the area near Orlando Regional Medical Center. So if you're headed south, there's a map there on the screen. If you're headed south on Orange Avenue, it's headed toward Cayley Street there. We have learned in the last 15 to 20 minutes that Orlando police plan to hold a news conference sometime around 4:30. There is a staging area, but let's get to that video here to show you exactly what's happening there at the scene. You can see there are several emergency responders there on the sidewalk. They're treating multiple patients. We are still working in our newsroom right now, and we have several crews on the scene trying to figure out exactly how many people were injured there at Pulse nightclub.
I also spoke with a mother who told me her daughter was inside that nightclub, started texting her mom saying, "I have been shot in the hand," and now that mom cannot get a hold of her daughter. So as you can imagine, a mother's panic right now. We just heard some sort of explosion or some sort of noise. We're not sure exactly what just went off, but there was definitely some sort of a loud boom, but it came from a distance.
About 2:07, I got a text message from my daughter and my two nieces. Please come and get us. Please come and get us now. They're shooting. And then about 2:12, I got a phone call from my daughter saying she was hit and she was bleeding in her arm and she was going to pass out.
And I just can't imagine the concern. I mean, being able to tweet out to your mom and her getting a message like that to come and get me. There's been a shooting and now she's not able to get in contact with her child.
Let's take you to social media. This was posted on Pulse Orlando's Facebook page just about 2 hours ago. They posted a message that said, quote, "Everyone get out of Pulse and keep running." And right underneath that, you can see one person there writing apparently inside the club, Ricardo J. Negron Almodovar. He writes, "I was there. Shooter opened fire at around 2 a.m. People on the dance floor and bar got down on the floor, and some of us who were near the bar and back exit managed to go out of there, the outdoor area, and just ran." Wow.
We understand now that we have some cell phone video of the some of the scenario that unfolded outside and includes some gunshots. It's the first time we're seeing and hearing it. Let's take a look at that now.
Look at that, just shooting back and forth. That is crazy. Look at this.
Oh. That's
All right, that's the video that we have at this point. It seemed to indicate there may have been some kind of shootout.
Let's actually, Jamie, before you recap, let's get live to a mother there on the scene.
I don't know if he's injured and being worked on, but they won't let us know. They're not letting us know any names of anybody.
What can you tell us about what happened?
Well, I could tell you that my son was in there with his boyfriend and two other guys, two other friends, and the two friends went to the bathroom, and when they went to the bathroom, they heard about 20 shots.
There's still a lot of people that are still mulling around the scene here that are trying to make sense of what happened. A lot of people are trying to... We're going to see if this guy here... Hi, do you mind if we talk to you? He doesn't want to talk. A lot of people are upset about what happened here tonight outside of the Pulse nightclub. We're going to try to see if there's some other people over here that might be able to talk to us. Excuse me, do you mind if we talk to you real quick?
Oh, man.
No?
What?
Have you heard from anybody?
My son, he got shot 3 times.
Again, this is the reports that we're hearing at this point. We understand there have been at least 40 people taken to the hospital, and that's some of the scene that you never obviously want to be a part of, and you can only imagine, and you don't want to. Let's go back to Jeff Lefkulich here very quickly. Again, the gunman, we believe, is still in the nightclub, but there also may be people inside. Right. And Jeff has a mom that has been trying to get a hold of her child. Jeff, are you there?
Yeah, Jamie, Mina Justice, her son, 80 Justice, has been in the club. The last time she heard from him was about 2:50 this morning. Tell us, how difficult has it been just waiting to see if he could...
Well, they asked me to stay home, but I drove here because I wasn't going to stay home. And I don't know anything. I heard a bomb, you know, so I don't know anything. I don't know if he's alive or dead.
Now getting information from our producers in the control room that Orlando police now confirms that the shooter is dead.
That's right.
The shooter is dead. So, wow. Very fluid situation here. I want to get live back to Roy Ramos, who is live there on the scene along Orange Avenue. You just spoke with a DJ and a security guard from Pulse nightclub.
Yeah, I just spoke with them a short time ago. They did not want to go on camera, but they did describe what they saw while they were in there. I spoke to that DJ. He said that he heard shots fired right after 2 this morning. He said that he saw several people running out of the club, several of them with gunshot wounds.
Our hearts just go out to this woman. Has she gotten any information yet?
Jamie, Darlene, this is Christine Leineman, is that right?
Yes.
Tell us about, have you heard anything from your son yet?
I haven't heard anything about his condition, where he is, if he's in the hospital, if he's still at the club. He hasn't called us, hasn't answered our texts.
Good morning. So at approximately 02:02 hours this morning, we had an officer working at Pulse nightclub who responded to shots fired. Our officer engaged in a gun battle with that suspect.
This situation has turned from any kind of remote possibility that this was a jilted or domestic situation to now what they're describing as a domestic terror incident. A big indicator here, obviously, the FBI has become a part of this investigation.
Let's go ahead and show you video of the buses here arriving early this morning. We did see a total of 3 buses being escorted by Orlando police officers here to Orlando Police Headquarters, a total of about, I'd say 50 people getting off of each of those buses, so well over 100 people here at Orlando Police Headquarters.
We're going to take you live over Sky Witness 9, back to the robot there outside of Pulse nightclub. It's now come outside of the club. We saw it, go inside of the building more than an hour ago now, maybe an hour or so ago now. Chief John Mina talking about sending that robot inside of the building to make sure there were no explosives there, because there were reports that the gunman was strapped with explosives.
What did it sound like? What did it look like? I mean, what was going on?
It was a lot of pops, and at the end of it, it was a lot of groaning. Everybody's kind of on the ground. A lot of people were just pretending to be shot just so that they wouldn't be shot, but he came back and was just shooting everyone.
Wow, look at that on the right of your screen. Chilling shots there of loved ones holding each other, caring for each other. Your heart has got to ache for these folks. These are people who are, I mean, we live in Orlando. You don't expect for this to happen. And this right here, this is outside of Orlando Police Headquarters. This is where people were told to go if they had any information, if they could help out in terms of providing any eyewitness accounts. But here you have, this sums up what folks are dealing with this morning.
I believe now on the phone we have joining us now is Daniel Linsky, who was number 2 with the Boston Police Department during the Boston bombings. Mr. Linsky, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Now, I know that you have trained police officers across the country. You've trained FBI officers here in Florida. When you heard about this morning, just tell me a little bit about, walk us through what law enforcement is doing and just what you personally, with your experience, were thinking when you saw this.
Well, my thoughts and prayers are with the victims, their families, in the city of Orlando. They're going through, it appears, a similar situation that we went through in Boston, with even more fatalities.
Today we're dealing with something that we never imagined and is unimaginable. Since the last update, we have gotten better access to the building. We have cleared the building, and it is with great sadness that I share we have not 20 but 50 casualties. In addition to the shooter, there are another 53 that are hospitalized.
You've been listening to a live news conference now with local, state, and federal officials talking about what has happened today in Orlando Pulse nightclub. I think the most compelling thing to mention right now is the fact that we have updated numbers on the number of people who were killed in the nightclub. 50 people have been killed. 53 have been hospitalized, but when we heard that number 50, it just kind of, I think we both just gasped, like, did he mean 50 people dead? And yes, 50 people dead in that nightclub.
I thought maybe he had messed up in his numbers. Maybe he had said casualties and he meant to say wounded. This would rank it as the worst mass shooting in American history.
Wow, this is amazing. Here is a look at the blood center there, One Blood. Look at all those people who have answered the call that was put out this morning. We showed you a picture of it, but this is a look at it right now. This video you can see of all those people who have lined up there to give.
Wow.
Look at that line.
Look at that.
Look to the left of your screen.
That
probably goes on for miles.
It's 85 degrees on a Sunday morning.
They don't
It's
care.
hot. Shannon Butler actually is with us now. She's joining us. Shannon, you have some more information on essentially what unfurled there for that 3 hours.
I do. I talked to several of the folks that were in charge of going inside the Pulse nightclub just after the shooting. They told me this was by far the worst thing they had ever seen. They said the original call came over the radio by that off-duty police officer from Orlando that was inside the club. He said, "Officer needs help. There is a gunman inside this nightclub."
Set the scene for us there in terms of what you're seeing.
What I'm seeing is absolutely incredible. I just spoke to the public information officer, but I want to show you the front door. They have to keep it closed because inside of that suite right now, it is packed with people. But I want to show you the line. It just continues to grow.
Here is a look now at Omar Mateen, who is the person that is thought to have killed 50 people in the nightclub shooting.
And on the phone we have with us now former FBI agent Del Carson to give us some insight into all of this. We've talked this morning about exactly the process in terms of investigating something this massive. What can you tell our viewers to explain to us what happens now, Mr. Carson?
Well, right now the FBI will be obtaining the necessary search warrants to make this a proper and effective investigation.
And Shannon, she's joining us now. Take us step by step, because you had so much information to help us understand what went down there in the nightclub shortly after 2 o'clock this morning.
Well, I just talked to some of the firefighters who were actually first to kind of realize what this situation was. I was just told that if you look at the map of this, Pulse is on along Orange Avenue. Right next to that is like a window tinting place. Right there is Kaylee. And then right after that is Station 5, Orlando Station number 5. Inside, those firefighters were sleeping early this morning. They were on shift last night. They hadn't yet switched out their shifts. They were sleeping. They had not been toned, what they call, where the alarm goes off at the fire station and then they're called out to get to the Pulse nightclub. That is not what happened here. What I'm being told is that people from Pulse were actually running down Orange Avenue, went to the fire station and started banging on the bay doors, those big 2 front doors in the front of Station 5 where the fire trucks pull in and out. The people were banging on those metal doors, begging for help, begging them to let them in.
Let's find out more about that again with a grief counselor and expert with Vanessa Eccles is Dwight Bain. And Vanessa, this is something that we're all going to have to heal on this together to different magnitudes depending on how we were impacted.
Exactly. So, Dwight, when we talk about this, first of all, there's so much to talk about. You really want to stress this idea of what we can do to prevent post-traumatic stress disorder.
That's right. The research is really clear, and it's kind of scary.
So I want to go ahead and show you a couple of them right here. Carlos Carbonell sending this out. "I ache for my city and my community. This is a hate crime and an act of terror. Hashtag pray for Orlando." He took a screenshot of our coverage from earlier today. He's a local activist as well here in town.
We do want to get to Janine Reyes because we talked to her earlier. She is in Fort Pierce right now at the shooter's condo complex. And we want to go back live out to you now, Janine. Folks been evacuated there? What's the scene from where you are?
What we're hearing is that one building within this condo is evacuated at this point in time. You can see it's blocked off. There's a lot of law enforcement activity out here.
I want to bring in U.S. Congressman John Mica of Central Florida. And Congressman Mica, thank you for coming in. Obviously, under these circumstances, none of us are pleased.
Very difficult day for, you can't even imagine families waking up, hearing of their loved ones lost or wounded. And otherwise a beautiful and peaceful community we live in.